So let's get into it. I just want to make the Dark Age of Camelot experience better for everyone, new, old, it doesn't matter. I just want to make sure that the game is at its full potential, visually, performance-wise, and so let's just jump in. This is the first thing you're going to want to do. This goes for pretty much all games. You got a new video card, you got a new monitor. If you happen to have an NVIDIA card, this needs to be done. It doesn't matter the refresh rate on your screen. It will always default at 60s and 30s. It's really weird, but this is something that you should always go and manually change in the resolution on the NVIDIA control panel. Make sure that you're at your peak refresh rate. Very important. Resolutions usually grab without you changing it, but the refresh rate will not do that. So this is super important, and you will notice a massive difference if you find out that this wasn't the case when you, it just doesn't seem to be a plug and play type thing. Okay, so the character select screen is going to have some of the most important visual changes that you can make to the game, and is very easily missed. And you'll be wondering why things are not looking that great in game. So always hit up your options and make sure your resolutions are where they need to be. As a quick thing, once you do your resolution, you can do best visual quality. For some reason it puts the shadows at near 10, and then I always put it all figures. A good adjustment, the sound tends to be extremely loud in this game. Maybe knock everything down to 4s, right? Instead of 10, I'd say put everything at 4s, and then poke at it from there, whatever your personal preference is. But resolution tagging is so important on the options on the character select screen. That is huge. Do not forget to do that. It's very, very needed. Once you get in game, this is also going to be huge. There's probably a lot of people that are just basically turned off by some of these things when they're introduced with the game for the first time. And you'd be surprised. There are a lot of people that will come and just quickly try out these older games, and this happens. So you can use the first bubble here, which is telling me is Control-C, and hit your command for your keyboard options. If you don't want to navigate and find it all in this, in case you're using a specialized UI, you can actually do /keyboard and enter, and it'll bring up that window. So either way, you can get to that window. So first thing is, this is kind of a quick way just to get it out of the way. You can MMO default, and it's going to set up your WASD correctly. This is all up to you. I very much suggest putting your strafe left as Q and your strafe right at E. You're going to have to adjust your down set after we do this, but this is also personal preference. I set my sprint to C, and I set my stick to X. It's all pointer finger, right? I can still use my movements with my middle finger and forward movements and things like that. So sprint C, stick X, F face, these are also just what you want to do, but those are the things that I've done for many years. You can set your right hand and your left hand and also your ranged weapon to even a mouse button for thumb. That way you can quickly swap from sword and shield, dual wield, to a two-hander with your weapons in your hand, switch right to your bow just with thumb toggles. Huge. Definitely do this. If you want them to be keyboard buttons, go for it. No problem at all. The nearest enemy is usually already automatically set to tab. And then the other thing that I would say to manually change is your ground target. Some spells in this game you set on the ground in a distance, and then that spell hits the area of wherever you have set that ground target. So it's nice to have that on a key that's comfortable for you, because what is default is not it. So definitely change that as well. Camera for me, this is all personal preference, but do what you want. I always set camera reset to G, and I take whatever your left mouse button is set to. You really, in my opinion, would want to set it to something like your middle mouse wheel click, because you'll hold that. You can be running forward and looking to the side and looking behind you without actually turning your character. So you can look behind you while running away to target your enemies and things behind you, to then flip around and start casting spells on them. This is really important. This will change your gameplay completely when it comes to kiting away from enemies and monsters. If you're a caster or someone you're trying to get a spell off while someone's chasing you and you're creating distance between them. G insta resets your camera back to its default setting. That way you don't have to readjust it with your mouse. You can just look behind you, click on someone, G to reset it, and then you're stuck facing them with spamming F and casting your spell. This is super important. This is huge. And this is also going to have another change I'll show you that's really important that you have to change, or this won't even work. So make sure to adjust these. You change them to what you want, but I very much highly suggest that mouse pan is your middle mouse click. The mouse look is fine how it is. I believe that's default. And then change your camera reset to whatever button you'd like it to be to instantly reset your camera. Huge. Don't not do that. That's pretty much the only ones that I would heavily suggest doing that are just game changing. Go and play around with it, whatever else that you like. The other huge one, you have to do this. Snapback, and you go to options, by the way. And will slash options bring up that menu? It won't. So you can slash keyboard, but you can't slash option or options. You need to go to the first little bubble on this little toolbar up here, click options, and turn snapback off. If this is on slow, medium, or fast, when you turn your camera to look behind you, it's going to automatically climb back to its default setting, making it to where you can't click people behind you that are chasing you, that you're running away from. So kiting and the ability to flip on your enemies is completely taken away from you. Snapback has to be off for you to be at your full potential when it comes to running away from monsters and players. Do not miss this. It's huge. Other than that, probably defaulted spell effects on all. Probably defaulted on far and far for your clip planes, but if they're not, definitely max those out, obviously. And anything else that you want to have on, all these are going to be toggled. You can have your name over your head if you want, or if you don't, uncheck it. But that's pretty much the most important one, is snapback, and make sure all your visual capabilities are at their peak levels. Huge. These are very quick and very easy things to do. I've heard more than you can imagine how I love Dark Age of Camelot, but I have my 2K monitor and I have my 4K monitor, and the UI is just too small. Everyone is worried about UI size. If this is an issue to you, you hold shift and you right click at the top left corner of your screen. While holding shift and while holding right click, you can then drag your UI down and enlarge it tremendously. What you're going to want to do is probably scoot your little windows up into the middle of the screen, because then they won't be lost when you enlarge your UI. That way when you enlarge it, everything is still grabbable, and you're good to go. This is probably going to cause a little bit of blurriness to some, so just use it. Don't use it too much. It'd be unnecessary to have it too big. So even if I get it just a little bit bigger, because a lot of the stuff that you can do is you can build your UI in that way, and then you can right click either the main or the combat tab and change your font size to be much larger, so then it's not as terrible. But a lot of people want to enlarge the UI that's actually on your ability toolbars and stuff, so you don't need to do it that much. But you are going to get blurriness. That's the catch. So get it a little bit bigger, that way it's not too strenuous on the eyes, but make sure you don't blur it out. And that would be the recommendation on my end there, because a lot of your chat, you can just make your font size bigger. No big deal. It's basically just to make your toolkits and everything larger squares, because if you go to 4K, things get really tiny. But when you enlarge that UI, you will get blurriness with your text if you go overboard and are silly with it. That's how quick. That's how quick you can absolutely and totally change the visuals and the customization of the keyboard interaction with Dark Age of Camelot to make everything much smoother. And what I mean by using the middle mouse button while you're running away, now I'm watching behind me while I'm running away. I'm able to click on an enemy. I'm able to spam F as I am ready to cast my spell. While I'm hitting F, I'm hitting 1 to cast my spell. It's huge. It's a really big deal. This stuff matters, and those are not default settings. Those are things that you have to change. So this is why I wanted to make this video super short, right to the point. Will change your entire experience with the game. Much love, you guys. Please sub to the channel if you stuck around this long. I'm going to keep stuff like this coming. I like to do visualization videos to bring some beauty to Dark Age of Camelot as well. Check out my reshade video where you actually can add texture to your environment. Just to even give you an example, this is why you want to go watch my reshade video. Remember what, take a close look. This is one setting. Look at that cloak. Unbelievable. And we go down to one of my other favorite settings. It takes away some of the haziness in the engine. You get a little darkening, but those can be counteracted by other things. Your fine sharp mode. Now you have some extra texture on things like the chainmail and all of the bricks and stones. It's huge, unbelievable changes. That is just from fine sharp mode, and so definitely go in the Luma Sharpen. Go check out the reshade video I made. You will not be disappointed whatsoever. It's going to be a beautiful change for you, and then colorfulness as well. Look at the dark, gross color of even the dirt, and then the grass and the actual stuff will start to pop out, and it even makes the brown more vibrant, for God's sakes. So colorfulness as well is just huge. These are reshade settings. Go check out my reshade video. It'll be at the end of this one. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Y'all have a great day, great night, great afternoon, and I appreciate the support and tuning in. See ya.